Good morning, YouTube. I'm officially back. I'm so sorry I have been gone. School has been crazy. As if you have not started, I've been in school for about 5 weeks now. So today is a Wednesday, and I just want to hop on you here and tell you how to prepare for a teacher observation from your principal. If you're new here, my name is Tia. I'm a second year teacher in kindergarten. It is about 6:50, so I'm gonna run to the school and I'll pick you back up when I get there. So I'm now at the school, so if you do not, I'm just like jumping right on into it, but it's okay. So what a observation is, if you don't know, you should already know from student teaching, but if you don't know, if this is a new career for you, you get, for first year teachers in North Carolina, I don't know if this is worldwide, you get 4 observations. 3 from your principal. It could be unannounced, announced. That means unannounced, it means they just pop in your room. You have no idea they're coming. Announced obviously means you talk back and forth when he can come or when she can come. And then my 4th one would be, or your 4th one will be from a peer from somewhere around in the classroom. Now, I have heard of people from the county office or from your district office coming in to observe, but that has never really happened. The district people have came in, but it's not to really observe my teaching. It's to see how things are flowing in the class and see how you're doing and all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump on in and give you your tips. I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to prepare for this day, for this principal observation. But to be honest, there's not really many tips to give because, okay, it might just be me, but I'm pretty sure it happens to a lot of people. Your lesson isn't going to go the way you planned it, okay? So tip number 1, just be yourself. Don't do anything extravagant. Don't try to overdo it. Your principal is looking for you to teach the lesson and not necessarily overdo something you normally don't do, because sure enough, he very well can ask, do you do that on a daily basis? My principal, he observed me doing a math lesson, and he was like, is that what you do? Does that normally happen? And so what happened in my lesson was I lost focus from every single one of my students. Like, I had one student rolling around on the carpet. I had, multiple kids blurting out. I had people looking at their neighbor and talking and not fully focused on me. So make sure you don't do anything too extravagant. So again, be yourself, do what you normally do, and go about your daily procedures. Tip number 2, praise your students, whatever good, especially you kindergarten teachers, because you need to instill in them the love of learning, and learning something new. You got to make learning fun. Now, like I said, I'm not saying go all out, but I'm saying, oh, I love how so-and-so is doing this. I love how so-and-so is doing that. I love that answer. Please kiss your brain. Just praise them, because for one, you're making them feel loved, you're making them feel important, and making them feel like their answer was a really good answer. And maybe it wasn't, but still they gave an answer and they're participating in your lesson. Tip number 3, I do this a lot, and I don't know why. Do not look at the principal. It's not a bad thing, but like, could you really be focused on your lesson if you keep looking at what he or she is writing, and seeing if you're doing something, like the slightest thing you do, is he writing it or is she writing it down? So do not worry about your principal being in that classroom. Teach the way you teach, do what you know how to do, and go on with the lesson. Tip number 4. Okay. Make sure you know what you're teaching. And I know that's crazy, but you first year teachers, make sure you studied what you're teaching. So like, when you are in there and you just know somewhat of what you're going to be talking about. Now, I'm not saying write a full-on lesson plan, You can if that's what suits you. I don't, because my principal does not require a lesson plan for me when it comes to observe, because he observed me in math, and we do Eureka Math, and it's all online on our county website. So if he seriously wanted to, he could go online and see what lesson I taught to see if I followed that lesson. Like I said, he knows we plan. He knows there are plans in place of what we're teaching, but he's never really said, hey, I would like to see your week-long lesson plans. Now, when I done student teaching, that's all I ever done was lesson plan. I swear I lesson plan all the time, and I lesson plan with my CT. But just with this tip number 4, with planning and knowing your curriculum, ask your principal if he wants a copy of your lesson plan. So let's say you make one, ask him or she or her if she would want or he would want a copy of your lesson plan, so you'll know. Now, I feel like that puts more pressure on you as a teacher, because if you're not following your lesson plan, it's like, oh, you were way thrown off. But then it's like, well, if you follow it word for word, like, do you really know your stuff? With tip number 3, going back to tip number 3, without looking at your principal, don't constantly look at your lesson plan. Like I said, know with tip number 4, know what you're teaching, so that it isn't awkward whenever you stumble and you're like, oh wait, was that in a lesson? Like, don't do that. Don't worry about what's in your lesson, but just it gives you an idea of what you're teaching, and it gives you an idea of how you think your lesson will go. But like I said, your lesson probably won't go the way you want it to go or what you have in mind. Tip number 5. Do not think about the negatives after your principal leaves. Or during your lesson, don't think about the negatives in your lesson. Because if you think your lesson is going bad, to be honest, it's probably not. It's all in your head. You're probably doing an amazing job. And just because you lose one focus on one kid doesn't mean the whole classroom is lost. So again, with that, because at the end of my lesson, I was like, automatically, I was like, oh my God, that was so horrible. The kids lost all focus. Like, I was really frustrated with myself, because I'm like, these kids never do that. So it was, did I do something different? And so with my principal, when we meet to talk about our observation, he said, no, does your lesson always go like that? I said, no, normally I can keep their attention. And he's like, before we get into any negatives, what is something good about what you've done? And so, like I said, think about the positives and not really the negatives. And that is just a short list of things that help you. Like I said, you can never fully be prepared for when your principal comes. Like, you can, but every image, every thought, everything that you think is going to happen probably will not happen, and that is okay. As long as you know your stuff and you praise your students, I think you'll be fine. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, that notification button, so you know when I post videos. Like, comment below if you have anything you want to share with me, or if you have more tips to help first-year teachers prepare for their first teacher observation. Now, teachers, you are going to be nervous, and it's okay. But as soon as you get rolling and as soon as they sit down, you will be fine. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.